Clarence Clemons, I call the Big Man. Mokshigan is a spiritual name, which means liberation fire. When he blows his horn, he liberates our souls with that horn. The big man, the mighty man, huge, and the great, great, great sound of love coming out of him. And I've seen him blow in front of thousands and thousands of Bruce Springsteen, and all the way to the very back. They get that spirit. They get that joy. They get that thrill. So he had that power in him, and then that's why Bruce loved him and would lean on him and play with him and just like get the energy off Clarence. But Clarence had all that soul about him. And Clarence loved King Curtis. And for all those people who don't know who King Curtis is, listen to a song called Soul Serenade. That's what inspired Aretha Franklin. And in fact, that's why it was so beautiful playing with Clarence on Freeway of Love for Aretha, bringing that King Curtis energy to Freeway of Love. So Clarence Clemons is the big man with a big sound. He is now in heaven, but we miss him on a daily basis, and we talk to him on a daily basis. Clarence Clemons is known for being the big man in the E Street Band of Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, that band hailing from New Jersey, that is the big man. He was part of the original band with Bruce Springsteen to inspire Bruce. Huge in stature, huge of heart, there to give Bruce all the confidence to do his mission, which is really like kind of religious actually. Bruce is like a king of rock and roll, the spirit of rock and roll. And so is Clarence. They bring that true spirit, like a fire of rock and roll and the energy and the thrill that's in that music and that backbeat and that bass and that organ and then piano and the message in the lyrics. Clarence Clemons is the backbeat and the backbone of a lot of Bruce Springsteen's soul and inspiring all of us with his great horn. Clarence became a hot actor, playing the role of God in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, Porky's Revenge, The Blues Brothers, Nash Bridges with Don Johnson, like an recurring series with that show. And then making his own book. Most recently, they're airing it, but he shot it here at Tarpan Studios and in China. A movie, a Netflix movie, a documentary called Who Do You Think I Am? About going to China and hanging out in China where no one knew who he was, that he could just rest and walk around and take in this whole other culture. And the music he was making at Tarpan that was reflecting that journey to China. And he's just something else, man. He just got outside and lived his life. And I'm very happy to say I was the best man for his last wedding for Victoria Clemons, which was a beautiful affair in Tiburon, California, before he passed. Clarence was the kind of guy, when he wanted Corrado to play guitar on a record, he'd have a limousine show up at Corrado's house. The limousine bring him over here to the studio. And in the limousine, everything Corrado might even want, or he thought Corrado might want, to get Corrado in the right mood. So he'd show up here, Corrado would play his heart out on the guitar. That's the kind of guy Clarence is. Very deep, loving, forethoughtful. What can I do to make someone feel the love, to give everything on the record? You think about Lady Gaga, On the Edge of Glory, the song that she put together with Clarence blowing that great sax solo. There again, she understood the power of having Clarence blow the sax on Edge of Glory. And he gives everything. He gives everything. Even if it's a light sound, like on the end of Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen, he'll play it very light, but it's so beautiful. So I give him a lot of love. I give him a lot of love. And I feel him in my heart right now. Clarence, who we call Mokshigan, he was given that name from my guru, Sri Chinmoy. Mokshigan means liberation fire. He would go and see Guru all the time. When he realized how much he loved Guru and that Guru was igniting in him a fire that was keeping him happy and young and excited and conscious, you know what I mean? No more drinking and carrying on. It was more like prayer for life. Here he is now, before he goes on stage, Bruce Springsteen, meditating, praying, on a daily basis, and going to see Guru for more prayer, for more meditation. And that was a beautiful thing in his life, which I think elongated his life. Because in his life, he was jumping on stages hardcore, breaking his knees, breaking his hips, breaking things, because rock and roll was so hardcore. But I think Guru elongated his life, brought some salvation of like, breathe deep, take it easy, live long and enjoy the good life you have. And then he would say like his uncle passed away, who was his big inspiration in his life. He would go back and visit the uncle's family and connect with his family on a deeper basis. Clarence is something else, man. Clarence is something else. He's the real deal. I have a lot of friends, but he became one of the closest friends to me. For the cover of the album we did called I Want to Be Your Hero, he flew to Hawaii, to Maui, and went to the Haleakala crater, the very tip top of that crater, which is really high, to take his album cover up there. And it's a very mystical picture called I Want to Be Your Hero. He's wearing all red leather on the very tip of that mountain, Haleakala crater. I Want to Be Your Hero album that features the single, You're a Friend of Mine. And I'm very proud of that album. And I'm very proud of the album after that, too, where we did a song with Ronnie Spector. She came and sang on the album, and we became best of friends. As music director for the Rainforest, I've done 13 shows. Feel me. 13 concerts for the Rainforest. All of them, except for the last one, have been at Carnegie Hall. We rehearsed at SIR, and about 2 months before that, I get a phone call from Trudy Styler, who's Sting's wife, who's beautiful, who's benevolent, who's divine, and will call me and just say, okay, it's time to get together the ideas for the Rainforest. The principal players are Sting, let's say James Taylor, let's say Billy Joel and Elton John. And then we're going to bring into it, we're not quite sure who yet, but it could be Patti LaBelle. We might ask Jeff Beck, we could ask Wynonna Judd, we could ask Smokey Robinson. So the shows are built like that. And then we kind of curve out and carve out the hot songs. And I put this great band together. It could be or Frank Martin on the keyboards with Greg Fillinganes, or Leon Pendarvis, Will Leon bass, and also Nathan East. And guitars could be Nile Rodgers, and the bad boy who plays guitar from Saturday Night Live, and Felicia Collins from David Letterman could also be there. The great horn section with Jim Horn, who I call the anchor, playing baritone sax, who played on more records than any living human being, and Tom Bones Malone, and Lou Soloff, and Russell Tubbs. So many great horn players, about 7 different cats down there. The backing singers, led by Tabitha Fair, and Lisa Fisher, and Ada Dyer, and all the great people down there singing with her, and Neil Cooner. And then on percussion, Bashry Johnson, whose timing is impeccable, making all the cool sounds. And we lost recently on organ Catrice Barnes, who would sing and play organ. She passed away in heaven. We love her. But the Rainforest love really was me inspired by what I would feel from Leon Russell and Joe Cocker in that band that would travel around together. Similar to what George Harrison was doing, traveling around playing the great music for Bangladesh tour. I wanted to bring together these giant minds, these giant hearts, these giant souls, make a giant sound to make giant money for the Rainforest, to save us so we could breathe air. And this has been Sting's passion and Trudy's passion to raise lots of money for the Rainforest. And they have done. If you look at the Guinness Book of World Records, their charities raise more money for Rainforest than anything close to it. But we're still a long ways off. A long ways off. And it may have been their last show this past December at Beacon Theater, where we did homage to the MTV era of the 80s and 90s with the Eurythmics and, of course, Sting again, doing homage to Peter Gabriel, who had a big smash with Sledgehammer. My man Run DMC came through hardcore with Blondie. So much good music, man. And we played hard at the Beacon Theater. I mean, I played like a rock and roll, hard rock and roll. And that's the Rainforest experience I've had. They've opened so many doors for me because I get a chance to meet people I don't always meet in my recording studio. And I get a chance to be like in charge, which I love doing, to give the cues, the tempos, and to get to know the artist, what key is best for them. I learned through the Rainforest to always give the artist props. It was halftime on one of those shows, the intermission. Someone says, you must rush to Billy Joel's room, to his dressing room. I rush to Billy Joel's room. He says, Narada. He goes to the piano, bang. He says, change the key from that song that we're going to do from Ghost movie soundtrack, Unchained Melody. Change that from the key of B flat to C. I said, well, Billy got all the strings there, all the charts already in this. I don't care. Down the stairs I rush. Strings, changing to the key of C. Rhythm section, key of C. Backing vocals, key of C. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Billy Joel. Out walked Billy Joel in the key of C. We play the song, standing ovation, pow! I realize You have to give the artist what the artist wants. Had I been, no, we can't do that, Billy, he may not have gotten a standing ovation. But because we changed it, we did it for him, standing O. Pow! So I learned my lesson. Here's another turn. Gladys Knight. She comes in rehearsal the day before the show. At the very end of rehearsal, we're all tired now, but this is Gladys Knight, who's my mother's favorite singer of all time. And we run through her stuff of, Midnight Train to Georgia, and she wants to do a Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, which has a lot of changes. But we do it. And now it's time to wrap the rehearsal because the guys want to go home now. And she says, I want to do What's Going On again in a different key. And I say, okay, but it sounded great. And now they're getting tired, Gladys, because guess what? It's time to go home. She goes, listen, are they professional musicians? I go, yes, they are. She says, have them bring out their pencil and paper and change the key to what I want it to be now. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're tired, but please do me this favor of changing the key to what we want it to be. And we're going to run it again, and thank you for your time and your patience and your love for Gladys Knight. We ran the song again. It was just smashing. And Gladys was happy. And so I learned again, even though you're up against the wall, even though the time is tight, people want to go home, give the artist what they want. And then everything will shine. And I've seen that on quite a few occasions. I've seen halftime of one of those shows, and Stevie Wonder shows up, out of the blue. Should we go longer and put Stevie on the show? Yes, we should. Steve, what do you want to play? I'm going to walk on the stage, and you're going to play a blues. Okay. Steve walks out on the stage, he starts playing by himself. And you listen to him play, and when you feel it, you fall in, playing the blues up under him. Standing ovation. That's how masterful those people are. On the highest level, Stevie, Sting, Billy Joel, and Elton John's powerful. James Taylor. They got it. So much so, just going with them, you can have standing ovations. So, Rainforest has taught me a lot. Sting came out here and did me a great favor to play one of my shows for my foundation called Let the Sunshine In. We actually got Marilyn McCoo, Billy Davis Jr. to come sing that song with Sting and everybody. And so many great people came to perform with us to raise money for a little boy that was shot while taking a piano lesson. So our foundation came in to help that cause. And Sting said it dovetailed two things. One, how important music is, and that we help this little boy. And then two, that we do something about guns in America. Gun control. To me, it's very important we have people like Sting, Trudy, all those who love doing good for the world. Every show I've done out of the 13 has been memorable in that there are highlights beyond measure. Be it Joe Cocker before he passed. You see why Joe Cocker's so beloved, because he gave everything on the stage. Nina Simone before she passed. My first recollection of studying music, I'm 6 years old, is to Nina Simone live at Town Hall during summertime. Cotton Eye Joe. Wild as the wind. And then to have met her and worked with her brings all to fruition. And to see others react around her like Elton John, because she's his hero. She'll be in the middle of a song and stop and say, I want a tissue. And then Elton will run out with a tissue, and she'll blow her nose if she has to, put it down, and then pick up where she left off. I mean, she's a true genius. True genius, Nina Simone. And then one thing, during the rehearsal, she misunderstood what I was saying, and she looked at me like I was crazy. And then Sting was like, oh, how are you going to get out of this? But I had to explain to her, Nina, we're trying to give you exactly what you want. And I want to be able to tell these musicians exactly what you want. So be patient with me while I do that. And then she relaxed. I explained to them to make sure they really listened to her and gave her exactly what she wanted. Then we're happy. But she may have misunderstood me at first and got a little upset. So, also she was fragile. She wanted Patti LaBelle to bring her man. Patti couldn't do that, but that's what she wanted. She wanted to be loved. And don't we all want to be loved? She wanted to be loved. Here, Nina Simone is the great, want to be loved. The Rainforest brings the best out in everyone because you're around your heroes. And when you're around your heroes, you do things that are beyond you. But I must say, when one hero shows up and walks on the stage, all the other heroes genuflect, spiritually speaking. That's the Stevie Wonder. When Stevie shows up, Elton, Billy, Sting, they all spiritually give that nod of love because he's so deep. He hears everything. So, Rainforest brings the best out in everybody. It's a wonderful family. And I even get a chance to see Sting being a bit nervous on the sideline of the stage before he walks on the stage. He gets nervous. You don't think about Sting getting nervous, but he gets nervous. That's how big it is. That's how powerful it is. And they bring out, opera. They bring out dance. They bring out things that aren't the norm. Bless the hearts of Sting and Trudy for championing the cause of the Rainforest for so many years, and for entrusting me, Frank Martin, all of my gang, all of my great people like the Will Lee of the world and Nile and everyone for playing so beautifully through the years and keeping the Rainforest alive and powerful. I work with an artist who's another genius singer named Regina Belle. And I have one of the baddest songs in all history with Regina Belle. It's called Baby Come to Me. And Baby Come to Me, we recorded the track here in Tarpan, and the lyric was written by my partner, Jeffrey Cohen. And when it came time to do Regina's vocal, I suggested, because the song is so romantic and so deep and so just full of aroma in the air of the ocean and just hold me, I said, let's go to Maui. Let's go to Hawaii and record your vocals. We can get George Benson's studio, and we can go in there with Dave Frazier as our engineer and get a killer vocal on you, because she's already a genius. But let's put an organ in your hair. And let's get that sound of the ocean and what you feel from Hawaii on that record. And we did. And Baby Come to Me is like extraordinary. It means so much so that Ashford and Simpson, Valerie Simpson with Nick Ashford, they called me and said, is it true? Because we can hear something going on. Is it true she recorded that in Hawaii? I said, yep. And when you listen back, you can just feel the vibe of how deep the love is. Because in Hawaii, they believe in what's called aloha. And aloha is the spirit of love, which is real. They believe in the spirit of love. So Regina and myself, Gigi Ganaway, my drummer and helper, Dave Frazier, we went there to record that and put an orchid in her hair. And every time I hear that song, Baby Come to Me, how deep it is, how beautiful it is. Yeah. So it really is something to be said about how you record, where you record, what you're doing, because it all comes into the microphones. Regina Belle is a killer. Live, she's undaunted, just beautiful. I like a lot of what she's done. I want to work with her again. We only have, I think, one and a half albums under our belt together, and that was years ago. And anyone who knows that song, that sound we did back at that time is in awe of her and awe of it. And I think we should try to come back together to relive it and bring it even higher if we can today. She's one of those people that has just got it, like a Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday was just as good at the end of her life as she was all along. And Regina Belle is in the middle of her life now. It's time for us to hook up again and make some genius music. She just got it. All the soul you could ever ask for. My love for Laura Nyro is very deep, very long, like the Ganges River, or tall like a Himalayan mountain. I went away when I was 15 years old on an acting scholarship from Plano, Michigan, Plano High School, to Michigan State University in Ann Arbor. For 2 weeks, they paid for me to go there to study acting and to study how they did set design and lighting. And during my stay there, it was really revolutionary in my mind to be gone away from home and to be on the campus and have time at night to dance by myself if I wanted to the Doors, just for long periods, just dancing by myself to the Doors. Or walking down the streets close by the campus where I could hear music floating out from the record shops. And one day I'm walking and I'm hearing the music floating out, Stone Soul Picnic by Laura Nyro. I didn't know who it was, but it was captivating, all the harmonies. So I walk in the record shop, I say, what are you playing? They say, oh, it's Laura Nyro, Stone Soul Picnic. And they showed me the album cover. It's this beautiful lady. Beautiful. And you pull out the sleeve and it smells like flowers. Then they say to me, and all the harmonies are her. And it's full of harmonies, like 30, 40 voices going on. In 67, that was unheard of. But it was true. Then on come the next songs on the album. And it could be either really deep and tender, like just completely vulnerable, or smashing and screaming with a bunch of voices coming at you. And I just fell in love with it. I had enough to buy the album. I brought it home to my campus and just lived with it. And it became part of my soul. It was one of the few albums that could touch the pain of my spirit, touch the pain of my soul, and sing about things I needed to hear about. So she was deep to me. And she was Jewish. She had black in her, though. You could hear that all the inflections, she had the soul in her, enough that would tantalize my ear, because I love the Delphonics, with Stylistics and Motown and Curtis Mayfield. She had enough of that in her, as well as she could be folky too, like And When I Die, or she could be like, Eli's Coming, Better Hide Your Heart. She had it all going on. Or the beauty of Emily. Emily, you're the natural snow, you're the natural snow, the unstudied sea, you're a cameo. So she's very beautiful in her writing, very, very beautiful. And the chord changes were like unheard of. What she would mix and match together from soul music to this new Laura Nyro music. So she just really touched me, man. Then I went to my senior year. I left home when I was 16, and out came her next album, which would be her third album, called New York Tenderberry. And I had to drive long distances to see my love at the time. In the middle of the night, on 8-track, I'd have the New York Tenderberry album, a song called You Don't Love Me When I Cry. This is very, very deep. And Mercy on Broadway. And the theme New York Tenderberry is very, very heavy and very depressing. But it could get the scar and the wound off me. That's how deep she was. More than anybody else is Laura Nyro to me. Then I went to college, and then there came out the fourth album called Christmas and the Beads of Sweat, with Arif Mardin and Felix Cavalier from the Rascals helping producer. At that time, I was a real fan. Then I went back and bought the first album called The First Songs, and then fell in love with the early things that she had done. They weren't produced as beautifully, but the songs are beautiful, like Lazy Susan, and a song I love to this day, which is I Never Meant to Hurt You. It's so beautiful. So Laura Nyro to me, piano, vocally, is able to go to a place that's all her own. That's all her own. And her own Jewish, black, white mixture, whatever it is. She got soul. So then she puts out an album with actually Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells backing her up, called It's Gonna Take a Miracle. And then they cover I Hear the Bells, written by Marvin Gaye, or I'll Never Hear the Bells. If You Leave Me, I'll Never Hear the Bells. It was first put out by a group called The Originals that Marvin produced and wrote. But when she got a hold of it and had Patti LaBelle backing her up, Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells backing her up, then that became a whole new thing. And then Patti going off was incredible. And then they recorded in the subway a song called Oh My Desiree, with all the echo in the street subway that she was raised like a little girl in New York City hearing. And Laura's dad was a trumpet player, a jazz guy. And the last name is Nero, but it actually could be Negro. So it's all in her, the music, man. And then, for example, I heard stories like when she was making New York Tenderberry, she would ride a carriage from her home through Central Park, a horse-drawn carriage, every day to the studio in her black shawl, and then get there and then record. And it's very, very deep. I just love her with all my heart. Then guess what? Because I love her so much, she's playing in the wine country. I get to meet her, and I tell her how much I love her. And I beg her to come back to our studio, Tar Band Studios, and she does. The following day or next day, whenever it is, she comes here. Oh my God. And I'm a complete wreck because it's Laura Nyro who's here. And we're going to cut together. So I get my best musicians in. Frank's here, congas and bass and whatever. And She's on the piano over there. I'm on my drums, and we cut a song called The Heebie-Jeebies, which is a slow R&B jam. And we cut it about 13 different times to get the version she loves. And after we cut it, then I have time to hang out with her. And we go in my office. She says, well, ask me questions. I said, well, what's it like for you to write all the songs you've written? She says, well, it's like going into a sandbox. And you got to feel like you're in a sandbox, and you can trust your sandbox to do whatever you want to do and say whatever you want to say and not edit yourself. Just be who you are and let it all come out. So, okay. And I said, I know that's true because I'm hearing you do that in your writing. You're not editing anything. Yeah. So you got to have a lot of trust, a lot of confidence to be able to do that. But I've learned to let myself just do that and be who I am. So she just, like put a stamp on everything I know was right anyway. Believe in who you are. If it's snot coming out of your nose, let the snot coming out of your nose. If there's tears coming out of your eyes, let the tears coming out of your eyes. And if you can describe what the burn feels like when you're heartbroken, if you can describe what it feels like to be made love to by someone who don't really love you and leave you, describe it. That's what Laura Nyro can do. And quite frankly, all the great poets have that ability. Truly, that's why we love them. Because they can touch us in a place where a lot of people, it's rarefied air. They can't go there. They aren't vulnerable enough. They aren't innocent enough. They aren't pure enough to go there. So I would say this right now. As a little kid, I experienced that deep emotion with Nina Simone. She went there. Crossing over to Joni Mitchell. Love her, too, in a different way. First, loved Joni as a folk singer from Canada. You know what I mean? Morning Morgantown, the album. Morning Morgantown and Joni, the very first thing she did with David Crosby. Very heavy and light with an acoustic guitar. I had a 2-week break. I graduated in high school in 1970 and drove my friend out to visit her. Her father was a film director in Malibu, living way up in the mountains, overlooking the sea with a bunch of peacocks, walking around like a nudist type thing, no clothes on, and had a beautiful lady who was living with her. She had no clothes on. But the music they were playing was Ladies of the Canyon by Joni Mitchell. Like, damn. So here I'm walking around hearing Ladies of the Canyon by Joni Mitchell. And that became the soundtrack of my what I first experienced hanging in California. And when I went back home, she stayed on my mind. Then out come the album called Blue with, All I Want and Carrie and all the things that are on the Blue album. And how deep that record is, like the river. And I wish I had a river I could skate away on. And she became deep over time, kind of like what Laura could get into. Not editing herself too much, just telling her stories. Joni came from the folk more into jazz as she was growing. Whereas Laura came more from folky vibe, whatever, more into her soul, the soul side. Speaking on Joni, though, you look at the guy, what she got with that great drummer, who she dated, John Gerwin, when she made the Court and Spark album. See, you can feel him in that, loving her, holding her, caressing her, the way he played with her on those drums and knew when to lay back and let those songs breathe. That's her classic album, the Court and Spark album. That's when the whole universe bowed down to Joni Mitchell. You know what I mean? With a song called Help Me. Help me, I'm falling in love again. Because it was commercial, she found how to do it her own way. Because it took John Gerwin with that groove to make it commercial. And people in Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan, my Uncle Travis, loved Help Me, on Court and Spark. So, and then recently in my life, I've met Joni Mitchell a few times, and I saw her struggle. Here I'm watching my hero, Joni Mitchell, having such a hard time to get in her car. And she has these beautiful nurses with her who love her, but she has to kind of maneuver herself, her body, after she had a brain issue, how to maneuver her body to get in the car. And I just prayed for her and love her, But she's there. She's at all the things that are going on in L.A. If Clive's having something, she'll show up. If Shaka Khan's going to be awarded, she'll show up. She's around the music, and I think she's still back writing and doing something right now. So I have major love for Joni Mitchell. Major love for her. And one of the guys I helped bring on the scene was Jaco Pastorius. He injected her with a lot of love and musicality. So These are all things I fell in love with from the 60s when my heart was really young and innocent. My heart is still young and innocent, but there's something about the sound of that day that really moved me and still moves me to this day. The power of the production that Tom Bell put down with the Delphonics is still a favorite of mine with La La Means I Love You. The way he recorded that and cut that and got those boys to sing that, and the drums are like out of this world. The track is out of this world. And it really is infectious with love. If you're in love with somebody and you feel that song and hear that song, it will multiply how much you love that person. You love the Snow Queen. Guess what? Put on La La Means I Love You. You'll love her even more. And that's true for a few other songs I got to say about Rarefied Air. I remember one time being at a little party, and on come the Beatles song of Michelle. Michelle, my Bill. And you look around the room, and the person you find love for goes boom, because the music is so beautiful. That's happened to me quite a few times. That music comes on, it's like, takes that little seed and blows it out. Jerry Butler, Never Gonna Give You Up, can blow your heart up. The production, the sound is so beautiful. That's something we've lost, is the beauty of the productions, the beauty of the songs. We've got a more rough, tough, raw vibe, squashing everything, squashing, and the Pro Tools squash it down, be louder than everybody else. But the beauty of oh my God, it can take its time, it can grow, it can breathe. That's what I miss about the 60s. So I don't mean to sound all overly romantic, but I am. I'm glad I was born when I was born. I'm glad I can tell you what I can tell you. Well, I wish that you could be a player in today's music more, and we could collaborate as players, not just the programming aspect. I understand the power of a computer, how it can hit, and a drum won't even may have the attack of what a computer can have the attack of. I understand the logic of that. At the same time, there's something magical when you hit and I hit together, and we do things together in the studio. I kind of miss that interaction that we used to have as players. That was acceptable in the top 10. And a guitar solo, or a sax solo, or a horn solo in the top 10. I miss the aspect of the instrumentation of ripping string lines that you could have, and the beauty of backing singers like having a spot, like our Walk On By, Whitney Houston's mother, Cissy Houston, doing the big section in the middle of the song Walk On By, and Dion's not even singing, it's just those sections. So I miss moments like that in music. Now everything has to be so kind of cut and dry in a way. And not to put it down, it is what it is. But it seemed like we had more time to be beautiful. We took our time to be a little more beautiful back in the day. So that's all I'm saying. The positives of today's music are incredible. That you can do what you can do. I can go on my machine and be a whole orchestra. In the old days, I would admire Stevie. That Stevie can make Song of the Key of Life or Secret Life of Plants by himself. All those sounds by himself. Like inspired by Tomita out of Japan. So Tomita could do a whole symphony with a bank of synthesizers. I now can do that. With my synthesizers, here, top synthesizers, I can do everything I want. My own bass, my own drums, my own guitars, everything. That's a plus. That music can hit as hard as it can hit is a plus. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa. The fact that we as a nation, as a world, have caught up to each other where we really dig black music. We may not call black music, but we all are dancing to black music. All kind of folks are dancing to black music. They want that funk that was only for a while in the 60s was a black thing. Then the cool white folks who could dig it picked up on it. Then it started to spread through the avant push of the Madonna, of the Michael Jackson, and that Prince pushing it along. Now it's gotten to the point where all over the world, what was known as black, and don't forget Eminem with the hip hop world, pushed everything where it's like common thread now. So that's cool for me. Everyone can get down with the music. So I'm a fan of today's music. I'm a fan that black singing and the style of black singing through all those shows of American Idol and The Voice, the good that's come out of it is that it's okay to have soul. In the old days, only a few cats could have soul. Why could Elvis Presley blow up? Because he had soul. But Elvis was smart. He learned from black people, doing black people's songs. Otis Blackwell was his songwriter. Nowadays, you can be white and be bad. Whether you like it or not, Justin Bieber's a bad cat. The song Yummy, and the way he's moving and carrying on. Or Justin Timberlake is a mean cat. I'm digging the fact that we aren't as black and white as we were. Now it's all kind of got intermixed. It's more about, is it good? It's more about, is it cool? Than, oh, you're white, gonna try and sound too black. Oh, you're black, trying to sound too white. That has kind of gone away now. So if it's good, it's good. And I applaud that. I want to say something about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and the fight I saw 2 weekends ago, which was like shocking. Everybody got shocked. If you like boxing or watch fighting, which I do, you got shocked. We all thought Wilder was going to go in the second fight and knock out Fury, because we don't really know how deep Fury is, the truth of the matter is. But Fury went to the Kronk, went to Detroit, Michigan, next to my home in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Got Emmanuel Stewart's nephew, Sugar Hill Stewart, to get Tyson Fury to be more aggressive, to pick up from the 12th round where he got knocked down in their first bout, and when he got up, fought back hard, picking up from fighting back hard, to using that in this new bout they had, backing up Deontay Wilder for the whole fight. It threw off Deontay's timing, it threw off everything. He couldn't lean forward and lunge the way he does because he was always going backwards. The Kronk hooked up Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury is mean enough, big enough, 6'9", 273 pounds, leaning on Deontay Wilder. And Wilder claims that his costume wore his legs down. Maybe it did, because it was 45 pounds going in the ring, carrying all that. Okay, fine. But it sure didn't help having a 273-pound man lean on you and just dominate you, grabbing you by your head, hitting you back behind your ears and knock off your equilibrium and knocking you down in the third round, and you're stumbling around and carrying on. Then the thing you're strong about, you couldn't really get off because you're going backwards. And the 7th round, your team and all the world who saw it was scared for your life because my man was gearing up to put your lights out. And guess what? Mark Breland, the great Olympic champion, threw the towel in on it. Then you got mad because you said, well, I should be able, as a fighter, to go out on my shield. And who are you as my trainer to throw a towel in on me when I want to go out on my shield? But the truth is, we wanted to save you to come back and be able to fight more, as opposed to that's all you're going to do. Because that's how far off it was. So now I'm hearing today that Deontay Wilder is telling the press, your king is back. I'm going to come back and get back my throne. And Mark Breland is back in his corner again. Because we weren't sure if he was going to keep Mark Breland or what he was going to do. We're all making prayers for Deontay Wilder because we know that he's a bad boy and we love him as a person because he's so like aggressive, arrogant, powerful, believing in himself. You got to love it. And he's got dynamite in his right hand. But he's a late boxer in that he didn't learn all the ins and outs of boxing so he can hang with a lot of stuff besides throw that right. So now he has to kind of make sure that his team, and if I was him, I'd bring on somebody extra who can get him to be up to par to fight Tyson Fury in July. He's saying we're going to go back within 30-day clause and say yes to a third rematch. So if you saw what just happened, we're all kind of nervous because we saw him get dismantled. But his right hand is so powerful, if he's able to connect with it, it's always scary. But guess what? Don't take for granted what we learned in my generation and before. You had to be a great fighter and a great boxer to be a heavyweight champion. You had to be. And just because you got the badass right hand, it may not be enough anymore. Up against 6'9". Muhammad Ali, yes. Because he can come out of so many different bags on you. Like me as a drummer. I can play drums for anybody. Because I know how to. But if I was only good at one style, then I can't go in and play with Dolly Parton. I'm only good at playing rock, let's say. But I can play with Dolly Parton just as good as I can play for anybody. So, prayers to Deontay Wilder. All love and respect to you. But guess what? Study. Slow it down and see what happened and get somebody who knows boxing, like my man got with Sugar Hill, to be aggressive against you. You have to get somebody else along with you to help you navigate. I heard Stephen A. on his show with Max Kellerman say they wanted to see you get some more fights under your belt first and then come back and see you up against Tyson Fury, which might not be a bad idea. But you sign on for it now. And we're going to pull for the best man to win. but no one wants to see you get hurt. And I know you're kind of making a prayer like, hey, man, you want to go out on your shield, but no one's wishing you to go out on your shield. Because Tyson Fury can kill somebody. Like you can kill somebody. You guys are big and stronger than anything we've ever seen before. So lots of love. I just want to say that I watch a lot of boxing. I'm a real boxing aficionado. When I came up with Muhammad Ali, I just take a little radio and put it on my chest. I was supposed to be sleeping, but I had to listen to the first Sun Listening fight with Muhammad Ali on my radio phone, my radio up on my covers, and couldn't believe it that this guy was actually beating Sonny Liston. At that time, Sonny Liston was the bear. You couldn't beat Sonny Liston, but he's tearing Liston apart. Then comes the second bout. He knocks Liston out in the second round. I got that picture in Tarpon City just to prove it. They call it the Phantom Punch because it came so fast. Down goes Liston. Okay, fine. And then we lived through Joe Frazier. The 3 fights with Joe Frazier, the killer with Muhammad Ali, and how they had to fight so hard and almost kill Muhammad in the Thriller Manila. We lived all that stuff. Then we lived to see Muhammad Ali go up against his biggest foe would be George Foreman. And Foreman's killing people, like what you see Tyson Fury doing. But Muhammad was smart to know in the back of his head he had to do what's called rope-a-dope to tire out Foreman. And then when he's finally tired out, can't, pow! And knock him out, see? Now, it's going to take some death-defying strategies for Deontay Wilder to come back against Tyson Fury now, because Fury is really confident now. And I'm going to tell you something. Them boys in Detroit, that Kronk gym, ain't nothing to snooze about. Look at Thomas Hearns, what Emmanuel Stewart produced in Thomas Hearns. He had all that fire too, but he worked him hardcore. So I think Deontay needs to have some Thomas Hearns energy. You know? On all cylinders, not just the right hand, on all cylinders. You're going to need it against Fury. Okay, peace out.